Ah! You caught me. You caught me without the earbuds in. There he is.
No, put that away. I just can't. I just can't.
You just have to.
I don't want to get letters from concerned parents saying, "What are you guys doing?"
It's a plush goat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's fine on my end.
This is a PG show, Adam.
Huh?
This is a PG show. Plush goat.
It is. Ooh, I like that. Well done.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do we get out of the StreamYard one? Let's do this one. There we go. Then my QR code shows up nicer.
I see that. Where did this QR code come from?
That's the QR code to my eBay store.
Oh,
Do you like that? Yeah.
That's fancy.
Yeah, I decided to get, super technical tonight, so I put a QR code on it.
What is
That's
this
my
happy
contribution.
leaf thing down here? Do we have a Thanksgiving skin on?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh my goodness.
How do I get just like a generic one?
Well, let me look at it while you
Because that's turkey. What is this thing? Oh, that's the like and subscribe one.
Yeah, I see what you did here.
Yeah, it's just there's different skins. There, we just go without one then. We're good.
There you go.
Yo, YouTube. Welcome back to the show. For those of you new joining us here, thanks for picking it up. We got an active chat, so we want everybody to participate as much as possible. Cold and flu season, I guess. Speaking of cold, I am not going anywhere for like 3 days now.
Today was downright balmy compared to what we had the last few days and what's coming ahead.
It was like 25 degrees today. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, crazy. Friday's like 40 below or something, and I don't know. Why do we live here? Why do we live where our face hurts?
Oh man,
doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so we've got a good show for you tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about McDonald's Pokemon coming up soon, and a little bit about margin differences between a veteran seller with followers and customer base and new sellers, and how that your thought process needs to change depending on what position you're in there. And then a little bit about the new card show season. We hit our post holidays time frame, if you will. And so
what buying systems too? How do you make your buys systemically so that you're not just guessing all the time and gambling?
I don't. I just guess and gamble, and then it pays off. So I think I think what you're trying to get at is, how do you use your education and your experience to buy in the best way, right?
Yeah. See,
some of it is based on gut, though.
You use a system, you just don't think of it as a system because you've been using it for so long. It's all, automatically in your head.
Right.
And you're just like, well, that's a no-brainer. That's your system. You'll say,
yeah,
that's a no-brainer.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
But seriously, there's like 20 calculations that happen in your head before you say no-brainer.
Yeah, why don't we just start with this, because I think this is going to be the hottest topic for conversation anyway.
Yeah.
But I just basically work margins in my head. I don't care what the card is. I don't care who the player is, and other than like liquidity, because that will change what I perceive acceptable margins to be on a card.
Yeah.
But then there's other things to figure in too. So you find one card. Let me see. Grab an example. Maybe. Here's some stuff I just uploaded. This was a bunch of the stuff that I just bought at that mixed media store we were talking about that I made a video on this morning.
Yeah.
So here's a nice Bowman Chipper Jones rookie card that I got out of one of those boxes. 4.5 cents or something like that I paid for this.
Yeah.
In the end, or less. I don't know. He might have given me a bigger discount with the total, but to me, that's a no-brainer. That's a Hall of Famer. It's Bowman, which has a huge collecting market,
Mhm.
considered the prime rookie card, for most baseball players.
Yeah.
Um, Played for the Braves, huge fan base. People like him. Chipper's a popular, player, has hobby, if you will. And in part of a bulk buy, 25 cards for $1, that's, of course you're going to buy that card, right?
Mhm.
So, but in my head, I go, okay, I'm going to ask probably $5 to $7 for that card. I didn't know exactly what the market price was, didn't look it up, but I knew I could get that much for it or more, right? That would be like
Yeah.
baseline. So 4 cents to $5 or $6, yeah, that's right. I mean, that just makes sense. Why would you not do that?
Mhm.
But here's where the challenge comes in. I have to find 24 other cards,
Yeah.
in that particular scenario. Most of the time we're talking about buying bulk or something like that to get the discount, or at least that's what we used to do. I know you're kind of digging more into like $5 and $10 deals now.
Yeah.
But I still like my quarter, 50 cent. Probably the dollar bin is probably my favorite spot right now. Buying actual dollar cards, and I did buy quite a few dollar cards at the Green Bay show.
Yeah.
Um, and I frequently visit our LCS that we buy cards from, and I go through the dollar boxes there and find a lot of good stuff that's liquid and big names and that kind of thing. But something like this, where it's a good opportunity at a place where not a lot of people shop for cards, and at that price, right, 4 cents a card, and you get to pick what you want out of it is pretty attractive. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think my system is more to pick up a card. Let's say I'm just buying a single card, right? I don't have to buy a certain bulk amount. Um, I wonder what they would have charged me if I just bought that one card at that store. I was like,
Yeah.
no, this is the only card I want. And do you want 4.5 cents for it? Like, I don't. Probably a quarter. Maybe they would
Probably.
just charge you a quarter if you bought one. Which still would have been a good buy for that card, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
25 cents for a Chipper Jones rookie, of course. Um, but I think that's the biggest thing is to just you got to always have the margins in your head that you want, and you have to think of the other angles to it. What else do I have to buy to get this price? Does it come with a free top load? There's just tons of stuff. Okay, well, if I list this for 6, I'll probably get an offer at 5. Would 5 still meet my margin? And you just really have to kind of run all that through your head. Now, I'm not going to look everything up. That's just insane.
Yeah.
In a 4 cent per card box, right? I find a Don Mattingly card, I buy that, right? Like
Yeah.
at 4 cents, those are players that sell. And so you have to be realistic about what you're looking at as well, as far as whether or not you're going to buy it. Now look at you. You basically just used your instincts on that Tom Brady, case hit that you bought, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, Tom Brady, it's a nice insert. I haven't really seen this insert before, which that's what I look for a lot on stuff like that, where I go, well, this is probably pretty rare because I've bought hundreds of Mosaic Brady cards and I haven't seen this particular insert. So it's got to be at least more rare than the other inserts I've been buying that I
Yeah.
get $4 to $5 a piece for. So you go, well, I'm not going to look it up. This dollar's a great deal on it, you know. Um, and then yeah, lo and behold, you look it up later and you have a much better margin than you thought you had. But it was a safe bet either way. Worst case scenario, you were gonna like 5x your money,
Mhm.
right? So I don't know if you really want to call it a system. I think it's just more of gut and experience and just doing it every day.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's where again I disagree with you. To you, it's gut and experience, but that gut and experience built a system for you. There is a system of decisions you go through in your mind when you
Hmm.
make a buy from your experience.
Sure.
And that's what I'm saying is really important for a buyer to build, because buying systems are better than buying instincts. And when I say instincts, I'm talking about pure emotional buys. Like, maybe you're a Brewers fan and you see a Ben Ogilvy card from 1984. Okay. And you're a diehard Brewers fan. You're like, oh, Ben Ogilvy was a great player for the Brewers when they went to the World Series. And you're like, that's a sure thing. It's probably not, because you're just buying off of nostalgia, and nostalgia isn't systemic. Um, but you're thinking about, when you do that, I think you're really doing the same thing I'm doing. You just have it built in. So when I talk about a system, obviously, and then you get to see my nice new surgery, another
Oh
hand
yeah. How
surgery.
did it go? I forgot about that.
It went really good, but
Good.
first you're thinking about. We can talk more about it later. I don't want to change our train of thought here. First,
Sure.
you're thinking about entry point, right? Like, you're choosing where you're shopping. Am I
Right.
going to a dollar box? Am I going to a $5 box? Am I shopping slabs? So the first thing you're thinking about without even realizing it is, what's my entry point? And then you start digging through that box and you're starting to assess things like scarcity, velocity, those eye appeal. Now you've built up a history that you have it on auto recollect. Like, we've talked before, you have a near photographic memory, right? Like, you can remember what you sold something for a year ago.
Hmm.
uh, Not everybody has that, and most definitely don't have it when they start out, right?
Right.
But that's part of the system. So as I'm going through a box, the easy stuff is, oh, I'm looking for numbered stuff. I'm looking for parallels that aren't as common. But as you start building up a history, you start to say, how many sales do I see of that? What price ranges do I see those go for? And you've got all that there. But I still consider that a system. You just don't think of it as a system anymore because you've become automatic with it. For people like me and a lot of people starting out, we have to put thought into that, and the goal there, the reward for doing that is a system's going to help you reduce decision fatigue, that hemming and hawing all the time, all day long, and the risk of backstock because you made some bad buys. So if you go into it with a few of those factors in mind as you're going through the box, you're going to make better decisions. And the last thing you need to think about, and perhaps the most important thing, you mentioned it before, but I'll frame it up a little bit differently, is every buy should answer one question. You know what that is, Adam?
Are you going to make money?
How does this exit? Yep.
Yeah.
How does this exit? Am I
Right.
going to be able to sell this as a single where I want it? If I can't do that, what are my other options? Does it make good small curated lot fodder? Like,
Yeah.
does it have a theme? Is it something that would work in a large team lot and someone would be happy to get it? Or is that something I need to completely pass on? And if we're at a show digging through a box, I would say, if it doesn't make single status, you're passing. But a lot of us have
Hmm.
a collection we started with at home that we're still going through. For example, um, what is this here? Here's one sitting in front of me. Who the heck is it? Logan Webb. Logan Webb from Gypsy Queen. So this I've got sitting around from when I was buying cards. So now my system tells me, okay, not a big name star, no scarcity on this, some recognition. Sorry, I got a top loader on there. Some recognition, and some success. Jeez, I can't get that light to back off now. There we go. So I would estimate this is probably going for $1.99 single, My operational rules this year is I'm looking to do $4.99 or better. This is not a single for me, but I already have it. So what's the next best exit for me? I could potentially do a curated lot. Okay. And that goes into a bucket of curated lot cards. So now I've spent very little time on that. And I've got an exit strategy for it. And that's important because if you don't decide the exit before you buy or before you put any time into it, the market's going to decide it for you. And if I list that as a single just because I have it, it's probably going to sit for 2 years. And then maybe I get that one Logan Webb fan come along or someone trying to build a set. But in the meantime, I've taken time to photograph it individually. I'm storing it as a single. Like all of that has a cost as well. So that's where I talk about systems can really help you get to the right place. And it all culminates to think about the exit on that.
I think you should list that card, and we'll see how long it takes to sell.
I've got a ton of cards
Just,
like this already
just for
listed for the
fun.
last 2 years.
Yeah. Um. e- Yeah, and I think you kind of make a good point there. It depends too on your customer base. So there are cards that I definitely sell and list that you don't sell and list, and vice versa.
Mhm.
Um. So just because somebody else has gone through the quarter box and you didn't go through it yet doesn't mean there isn't something in there
Right.
for you. Uh, but what I the only thing that I still have trouble getting past sometimes for after doing this for so long is when I start in a box, I have a hard time abandoning the box.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
especially you pull 2 or 3 cards out, you're like, all right, I can find another 5 or 10 and make some kind of a bulk deal out of this thing.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you don't want to waste your time, so you're sort of push yourself through it to try to make a buy. Um, no, if you're doing dime or quarter boxes, it really doesn't matter because the price is so low. But you're doing $5 or $10 cards, you might want to back off and try another spot. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's uh, I think you're right. I think there's like a system to it, but I don't. I think you brought up a problem that a lot of sellers have that I don't have, and that's I don't care about the cards themselves, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Because
So
you're
I
at a
don't look
different
at I,
point in your
yeah, I don't
journey.
look at it and go like, "Oh, I need this card," or "That's a cool card, I'm going to keep it," or "I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of the Bears, so I'm going to buy these Bears cards." Like I don't do any of that.
Yep.
I
Yep.
see it simply as a business opportunity, and I read an article. Here's Mr. Dave Cohn, rookie, by the way. I read an article on him the other day as being one of the most underrated pitchers, and he pitched for the Mets, he pitched for the Yankees. Big name collector base is there,
Yep.
and I thought at 4 cents, there's monetary, there's margin in it. There's margin in it. So,
If
um,
you sell it,
yeah, of
which
course, right,
you likely can because you are now at a point in your stage where you have optimized the majority, if not all, of your systems. You have found your custom marketplace settings. You're fully optimized to treat cards as a commodity. You could care
right,
less if it's this Logan Webb or this Cedric Mullins. All you know is I got into these for pennies and I sell X cards of whoever every day, and I make pretty similar margin on everyone. And I just keep flowing through like
yeah,
a production line, right? Which I think we all want to get there. My point with that is just that we're not all there, right?
yeah, yeah,
We're
and
building
and
to
those
it.
are 2 cards that I wouldn't like pull out of a box and buy.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if I got a big bulk buy, I would do it, but the stuff that I just even though these were 4 cents, this is the stuff that I bought. I could have bought the whole 5,000 count box, but I
Yeah.
knew there was going to be a lot of stuff I couldn't sell real quick. But David Cohn rookie, a Chipper Jones rookie, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco wild card, variation photo from the baseball um, playing card deck. Post Cereal, Don Mattingly, right? Here's a cool Fleer insert of Pudge and Piazza as all-star
Yeah.
catchers. Anything with Nolan Ryan on it, right? No brainer.
Yep.
Pacific Bo Jackson, a more expensive product. You only got a couple cards in a pack, and it's Bo Jackson, right? Silhouettes insert of Frank Thomas. Um, studio cards, right? Nolan Ryan with his nice little facsimile signature on there, nice close-up photo. Like, so I was still selective, you know.
Yeah.
Now if I buy out a table, and I'm getting 50-cent boxes at 5 cents a card or something. What's interesting is some of these dealers that have been doing this forever, you're like, oh, their box just has to have all stuff in it that sells. That's not
Yeah.
true.
No, it's not.
That's not true at all. A lot of times when I look through the boxes, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why is this here? Um, unless, like you said, you get a parallel or something that sort of pushes it along a little bit versus a base card. But a lot of junk in the boxes too. So you really, yeah, I kind of made a point mid last year, I want to say, where I was like, oh, I'm going to buy out more dealer tables. I'm going to buy all these, 5,000 count boxes of stuff. And I'm kind of changed my mind on that. First of all, I got enough to list already, but a lot of times when I buy that stuff, it's like, there's a bunch of stuff in there I don't really want to list.
Yeah.
You kind of have to do it with the right dealer in the right situation, on the right price.
Yep.
Somebody who actually knows how to sort stuff into this will sell and this won't.
And that's kind of the final point I'll make on buying systems is that there are different stages in your reseller career. I believe initially you're in a data collection state where you're gonna pick up a lot more, you're gonna list a lot more because you're building market knowledge through all of that. And then you're going to get the second stage, which in my podcast I called it the middle seller stage,
Mhm.
where you're not a rookie anymore, but you still haven't really got near perfection on things. You're still figuring some things out, but you're by no means a rookie anymore. And that's where you're really fine-tuning your operational systems and strategies. And that's kind of where I feel I am right now. And then stage 3 is kind of like that final state where I think you are, where you've got it all nailed down now. The business kind of runs itself. You just find the inventory, plug it back in. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's work every day that needs to
Oh
be
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
But what I mean is like you've got it dialed in. It's on automatic. You just shove the cards in, ship them out, right?
Right.
So I think it depends on where you're at in that journey, how you design your buying systems. But ultimately, I do believe you need some type of system, and that system is going to be different for each stage.
Yeah, and something I don't always consider either when, especially talking on this show, not everybody is where we live, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
And we regularly get comments, "Oh my god, you guys find those in 10-cent boxes? Those would be in $2 boxes here." And I'm like, "Well, that's right. We have it good here." I forget about that sometimes. We can get inventory at prices we can resell stuff at pretty easily, to be honest with
Mm-hmm.
you. No, I mean, I've even gotten to a point where I started listing some sports stuff in my non-sports store just to move some extra sports cards that I had, and I don't have as much non-sport right now to list. Although that might be changing. I found a buying opportunity. I got to figure out if I can get to the bottom part of the state to pick it up yet.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so I was like, well, why hold off on listing these if I got another store I can sell them in? Um, and I did. I listed some sports stuff and I sold some right away. But now I'm like, well, geez, I would even open a third store. Why not? Because it doesn't really take me that much more effort. I know how to set up another Car Dealer Pro account
Yeah.
and or do a like TCG player store and just move stuff into there from that. So it's just like constant expansion now at this point. I had in my non-sport store, I had a decent amount of sales today, but I had more non-sport sales on Whatnot and Collects than I did in my eBay store, which is not
Yeah.
that common. So it feels like, the more I expand and the more I include other platforms to sell and more stores and things like that, I am getting. It was funny. I looked at my bank account yesterday and I had 9 different deposits. Because I got something from AdSense. I got both eBay stores. I had a Whatnot that because I let money pile in there and then I claim it or whatever when it reaches a certain amount. But anyway, like I had all these different things paying me at one time, and it's crazy, that you can have, you know, a business and then side hustle off that business, which is essentially how I feel like that's what it feels like I'm doing. Like, okay, I have my business that I need to make income from, but then I have these little side hustles that I'm selling this other stuff on, and I get a couple $100 from them at a time.
Yeah.
And it just makes you want to keep doing it more and more and more and more because where's the cutoff? Somebody early on when I was, talking about making a second store, they're like, "Oh, I wouldn't do that. You're going to compete against yourself and blah blah blah." There's like 90 trillion cards that have been made in history. You could have 1,000 stores and still list completely different cards in every store.
Sure.
And sometimes it's just, when the listing hits the buyer and things like that. So, you could have the same card that I'm listing a card today and it sells tomorrow. And it could be the same card you have listed in your store that you've had on there for 2 years. So nothing's guaranteed, either. As long as kind of going back to our system, as long as you're using your system and you have stuff with margin and stuff with hobby and things like that you can list and sell it. Who cares how many of them you list? If they're selling, what difference does it make? Just try to
Yeah.
try to list as many as you can. And I've cut most of my time this year, or focus, I should say, has been spent on cutting task time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've let go of the don't scan Chrome thing. I ain't taking individual pictures of that stuff anymore. I'm just gonna scan them and put them in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've gotten to the point, you get to be trusted seller enough. I mean, you're at this point too. Trusted seller enough. When a buyer comes in, they're like, this is fine. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't. I don't need to see this card in an individual photo. The scan looks fine. Um, and so I just do that because it takes me like 0 time to scan and put it in, obviously, versus taking the photos, adding the banner in manually, and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the way I do it. So yeah, so it seems worth it to me. I'm gonna give one of my secrets away today. Do you want a secret?
I don't know.
You want a
Maybe
secret?
we should save it for the Patreon.
Here, I'll give you a secret.
Oh gosh.
Um, so I buy playing card decks that have interesting
Yeah.
varieties of playing cards. I don't know if I've given that secret away before, but I found this really cool Deadpool deck, right? So Deadpool, easy sell, right? Super liquid Marvel character. It's got this great, every card has a bullet hole in it, which is amazing, right? Then it says, please call me the Merc with the mouth. That's what every like backside of the card says. But then
Yeah.
each card has like a different drawing and quote on it. Here's him on this king card here. Here's him in his boxers,
So
right?
they're all unique.
They're all unique, every single one. And that's what you want. You don't want a deck of cards where it's the same picture on every single card. See?
Right.
So then now it has hobby because of that. Um, so like that's the kind I'm trying to find more out of the box type of stuff,
Mm.
out of the box, pun intended, because they're boxed cards. No, and the reason I bring that up is that's stuff that I will spend more time on. I can't scan these in.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to show up anywhere. So this is something where I got to sit and do the photo and all that. Look at, you can see the bullet all the
Yeah.
way through the box.
That's cool.
But the other cool thing is I list them all, put them in the box, put my date sticker on it. It goes right in the drawer like that. Don't have to bag them or anything. But yeah, so I'm investing more of my time on like a creative growth to my business, which I think I've always had some focus on that. You know, being one of the earlier like, let's sell non-sport cards and get crazy here, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I'd rather focus more time on that than like just individually listing everything and having a perfect photo of a modern card. Doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. Anyway,
All
I
right.
just thought I'd bring that up. So playing card decks. I bought four different ones I think this past weekend, and so there's some interesting stuff. I got some SpongeBob, I got some Superman. There's another deck that I'm chasing down. It's a little harder to find, but all the cards out of it sell really well.
Okay.
So I don't want to give that away. Maybe I'll tell you off the air if you're lucky. We'll see. But yeah, so there's other opportunities out there besides just sports cards, just TCG cards, just movie cards, whatever. Um, and I think those kinds of things. Now, what I might see with that is a buyer comes in and buys the Ace of Spades cards because it's him eating a chimichanga, right? And that's like a thing with Deadpool, and then buys two other Marvel Deadpool cards, right? So
Sure. Yeah.
those are good like candy bar at the checkout type stuff. That's where I see that. And it's 52 cards and I paid $5 for the box plus tax.
Nice.
So, I mean, so for the deck of cards, you're paying what, 10 cents? Is that 10 cents? 52 cards at $5 plus tax? Yeah, probably right around 10 cents. So to me, that's a solid buy. They would grade really well. So people who like to grade weird stuff, and get tens because you can squeeze a few extra bucks out of it right away. They're a great opportunity for that. And I think playing cards look cool and they're graded. If you get nice ones, they look, they've got the rounded edges and
Yeah. I mean,
so
those Deadpool cards are amazing.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. So I don't know. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I went down like some side roads there,
We
but
were talking about having some systems for your buying.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't really have anything to do with that. I just was excited and wanted to share it. But
Should we jump into a little chat before we move on?
yeah, let's do it. You bring them up. You make it
Looks
happen.
like we got a few comments on that topic.
By the way, if you're interested in Deadpool playing cards, you can scan my little QR code up here, and that'll take you to my fancy eBay store, and you can buy stuff there.
Brian's first in tonight. He says murder
Oh,
card.
yeah, Brian was at the Green Bay show, and I got a Ray Caruth card from him
Yeah.
at the show, so I was happy about that. Collect those murderers.
Boom Slang's here. He says, yo.
Yo, yo, yo. Thanks for joining us as usual.
Wolfie Joe is here. Says cold there as well. I think he's up by Minneapolis.
Yeah, I mean, what, Florida's getting snow, I think, right now, or they were? I don't know. Did you see
Northern
did you see
Florida.
Russia?
Yeah.
Russia got like 4 feet of snow or something. Parts of Russia.
That.
Yeah, people are like skiing down like the sides of like tall buildings and stuff. Because when the snow falls, it just keeps like packing up until it becomes a hill, essentially. Even though it's between buildings. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Look it up. There's some pretty interesting photos.
Boomslang says you have to switch from collector to seller first. And that's hard to do if you have always spent your whole life as a fan / collector to now being a seller flipper. And he's still working on that.
Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of fortunate because I that was not a struggle for me at all. And I do collect too, but money, numbers and money and margins and stuff stand out in my head way more than anything else. So it was easy to see past that. But you're right. I think a lot of people struggle with that. Well, I'm going to buy this box of cards. Oh, this is the big hit card. Well, I have to keep that. That's the rare card. That has to go in my PC and then try to make up the money with the other cards, which isn't going to happen. And
it never works
it can be
out.
tough.
Yeah.
It can be tough.
Yeah. DP Fitness is here as well. Do you guys feel Panini is done as a card brand? Without their license now for the top sports, how will they survive? Does this now put Leaf trading above Panini? Is unlicensed the new thing?
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Panini was never a good brand, in my opinion. They just happened to be the one with the licenses, so we all participated.
Yeah.
Um, they will survive. So the thing about, if you don't know much about Panini, they were around well before they had the sports licenses. They only had the sports licenses in 2015 or 16. It hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
Because Tops was around before then, and then you had like Score and Pinnacle and like all these other brands too, well before Panini. They were making sticker books, sticker albums, soccer stickers, and they're also a candy company. They make a bunch of different candy. And like just plain old stickers. I think they do like sticker sheets and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, they don't have to pay for the license anymore, which cost them a lot of money. I'm sure ate into some margins until there was the boom in the market, and then
Mhm.
they made the money. So why pay for the new license? Let somebody else do it, and they'll just keep the money and go back to what they were doing. Is kind of my take on it. They're also based out of Italy, not America. So their licensing football and baseball cards is not as crucial to them. They operate in the European market boldly with their candy products and their stickers, sticker albums, and all that stuff. Actually, let's see if I gotta show you something real quick. Hold on.
Oh boy. He's going to dig. Yeah, I don't know that Panini's done because I believe they still have the license for a few
Well,
things.
this is kind of cool. If you're into like the sticker albums and the old Panini stuff. Um, Hold on, I gotta get my ears back in here. I wish this cord was longer. We're gonna get some wireless ones to plug in here. Anyway, so I played soccer in Europe for a while. I don't know if everybody here knows that, but that was a thing. So when I was in um, Europe, I bought a Panini sticker album. I don't know if you can see this. I might have to move this out of the way. So you can see it's football 95 on the top there. I paid 2F. I'm assuming that's francs. I don't really remember. I'm not so great in old European currency. Everybody uses euros now, but they didn't back then. And you can see it's Panini down here. And this is the kind of stuff that they, grew their whole business on, right? So I got sparkly stickers up there
Mm-hmm.
of some of the stars. And I probably shouldn't have stuck these stickers on there. Some of them are probably worth something, but here's some Feyenoord players stickers that I got out of packets, and they sell the stickers in all these little packets, and they
Yeah.
make a ton of money on them. They sell them at grocery store checkouts and things like that, or at least they used to anyway. But the point is, they have other business, so that they're not just folding up. Now, will they make unlicensed cards? I don't think they will. I don't think there's any real demand for that. Um, maybe they'll try a set or two that first year, but from what I understand, because the basketball license is already switched. Okay, so we already know that what's happened. And they had their basketball, final releases scheduled before the license expired. They put those products out, and then they normally would have a list of like what they're working on and what's going to be coming out in the future, and they literally have zero. Like there's nothing on there. They're not making any basketball product. And that would be a better product for them to make because it's more international. It's a great rookie class this year, with Cooper Flag and stuff like that. And if they're not making basketball product, I don't see them chasing, baseball and football as much. Now, the last like few years, they have been making like baseball select and baseball prism without a license. So I could be wrong. They might take like some of their bigger flagship products like Prism and keep that around. But I mean, Prism Baseball and Select Baseball is not really doesn't really matter much in the market. It doesn't do a whole lot.
So
So,
they still have licenses in some other areas, though. They have WNBA license.
yep,
They have international soccer and
yep.
FIFA. They have NASCAR, UFC.
Hmm.
Sounds like they might have some Disney rights as well.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some other licensed stuff that they could make. They might just go into making their own custom stuff. Like create their own characters, a Gary V type of thing. I don't know. Um,
I
but
would think they'll continue to do some unlicensed football and basketball, though. Why not? What
I don't think they will.
Tops making money doing unlicensed stuff.
Who is?
Tops when they came out with
Mm.
Compositor or whatever. I mean, people were
Well,
buying
yeah,
that.
but that was the only reason they really did that was like test market stuff of different, potential products, lines, sets, whatever you
Yeah,
want to call it, because they were getting the license. That's the only
I
reason they did it. So I just don't think they're going to do it. I don't think there's going to be enough money in it. And like I said, they normally would have like, oh, here's our basketball products. Here's the next one's coming out. They have literally nothing on there.
I mean,
So they
Panini's
have
been
no
making
intentions of releasing.
unlicensed baseball for years.
They have, yeah, that's what I said. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like that's the direction they're heading. Why wouldn't they have basketball releases this year?
Uh, yeah, that's a good question. But at the same time, on one hand, I'm like, maybe they decided not to pursue the licenses harder because they're like, forget it. We can make enough money without the license.
Maybe. I don't know. I kind of don't care because I'm not going to buy them, so it doesn't
Right.
really matter to me. I didn't like Panini when it was the licensed products. I'm not going to buy them as the unlicensed products. I think Prism is way overpriced. I think they wrecked Select by taking it from hobby and putting it in retail and then overprinting everything. Like I think they just kept screwing up.
Where are you gonna get
Um,
your downtown, bruh?
oh gosh.
Or your
Um,
uptown?
yeah, and I
Or
don't, I
your
don't,
zebra print ultra light flicker X-ray wave parallel?
I'm sure Tops will put out plenty of that types of stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the better quality products, the more exciting looking inserts and things like that. And I could care less about kabooms and downtowns. Like I don't do any of that stuff, so it doesn't affect any of that for me. Um, but now will that put Leaf above Panini? I mean, if it's unlicensed products, maybe. I don't know. I don't really do a lot of Leaf either. Um,
Yeah.
Now, if that's like the thing, oh, it's Leaf going to be competing against Panini for the unlicensed. Panini's going to have to drop the hell out of their prices to try to
Mhm.
compete with Leaf because Leaf has pretty good pricing,
Yeah.
um, for what you can get in their products. And Panini's going to have to come down to get to that. But I mean, you also have Wildcard. We love Wildcard. They have some great unlicensed products. The hot thing right now is the Bo Jackson Battle Arena stuff. That's all unlicensed. Um, so there are spaces in the market for that type of stuff. But I don't see Panini being strong in that area because I don't think their products are very good. Simple as
Yeah.
that for me. We had to buy their products, like I said, because they were licensed. That was your choices. But now that we don't have to, I don't think there's a lot of buyers there.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess time will tell, but I could see a business case either way. I have a hard time putting Leaf ahead of Panini though. There's just something about Leaf that just screams budget to me. But at the
It's a lot
same
of
time,
paper
like
product.
they have more fun products
Yeah.
sometimes. Like they pick topics and themes that like you and I a lot of times like. But yeah, we'll see.
They do a lot of cool stuff like quad autos, and it's like players from 4 different sports. So you get
Pickleball.
like, yeah, you get like a Pele autograph and Muhammad Ali and a Tom Brady and not Tom Brady, he's exclusive, but two other players, baseball great and a archery great or something, friggin' pickleball or something. Um, so yeah, I mean they're more for like a more alternate collector personality type that doesn't really, need the NBA logo on it.
Right.
Um, I personally, this past year, probably almost 2 years now, I guess, I've bought way more Topps football products than I have Panini, and they're not even the licensed ones. I loved Resurgence. I love Cosmic
Yeah,
Chrome. The composite sets had some really cool stuff in it. Uh, you know,
I agree with that.
I
And
buy
a
that
better price
Topps
point.
Holiday. Yeah, I buy that stuff before I haven't bought any Prism. I haven't bought any Select. I haven't bought any of that stuff. It's overpriced. The cards aren't as cool. The refractors and tops are, top notch. They have fancy, nice colorful designs and things. And Panini is just blah. It's just this chrome etched looking card that just doesn't do anything. So,
Yeah.
and you spend $900 on a hobby box, you get one auto of like some dude who's, a walk on, and a crappy jersey that was not game worn, like it's junk. The design isn't great. They have a lot of production flaws. And yeah, but I know you didn't ask the question to ask me what my opinion about Panini is, but you kind of did. So you're going to get it. And I haven't hit it. I think most of you have heard me talk about, I don't have any love really for the Panini products. No, and I love Panini. I mean, I have a original 1995 European soccer, Dutch, sticker photo album, and I love that stuff. But for trading cards, nah, and we don't need them. Go back to making stickers.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the market would be fine without them. I just don't think they're going to. I think the lure of the cash in that market is too much for them.
Yeah, well, they haven't proven it with the basketball products. I'll tell you that because they put out zero. There's zero Panini unlicensed basketball products, not one.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
basketball is 3 months in, 4 months in, and Topps has put several products out, and they've got nothing. Leaf has put some stuff out, so I just don't see. I don't If they haven't jumped in by now, I don't see why they would. And I know their production has been behind, and to be honest with you, I think they have a bigger issue that we haven't really discussed. But economically, it's tough right now because most of their stuff was printed overseas. So if they do their production there, the company's in Italy, and they send stuff here, the tariffs are going to, slap them hard. Prices are going to be even higher. So maybe they just felt like, okay, this is just a time for us to just kind of back off of this and, do some other things, focus on our stickers and candy business and that kind of thing. And the few licenses they do have with other sports, and just do that, and just leave the football and basketball alone.
I'm curious about the candy they have. Anything good?
No, not that I remember. It's all like little, you know, I don't know. I don't want like little nostalgia bit type things, right? Like little, figures with little candies in it, and it's just that kind of like dime store. We were kids, dime store type stuff. So,
Okay.
but I mean, Top started out as a gum company, right? So it's like it's not a real
Yeah.
stretch that way, but and I'm not an investor in Panini. I don't know all their business workings in and out or anything like that. I know that history portion of it, and and where they're located in that, and I don't think they feel like they have to be a player in the US professional sports market. There's other things that they can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I think if they really wanted to continue making cards, they would have pitched more money for the licensing. That would have been the better move.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
can they spend Fanatics? I don't know. I mean, maybe, maybe not. But you know, if that was the sword they were gonna, you know, live or die by, you know, you'd have to pay up. They
Yeah.
just
And
raise
you're
the all they do is raise the prices anyway. They don't care, and we'd still buy their crap. So
you're right in that. I was just doing a little research to see if there's anything coming down the pike for basketball products for them, and they have nothing. Nothing but WNBA and women's basketball coming this year.
Charlie, I'm always right. Um, you know, I appreciate your you know, looking it up and verifying. That's good. But yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't feel like they want to participate. They don't have any commercials. They don't have any. I don't know. And the products that I see in the store is kind of the end of it. There's nothing new that's being put out. Now,
Right.
I'm talking basketball. Now, remember, football they still have the licensing, so of course they're still putting that stuff out. But I don't know. I can see them just like that's it. When basketball stuff switches over, they're done.
Yeah.
So, which
All
again,
right.
I'm fine with. I don't think they make great products. So, not a
Well, I
real
think
loss. The
it's
hobby
time to
will do
move
better
on.
without them. What?
Time to move on from that.
Yes, do it.
Daryl's here. He says, "Oi, oi, oi, guys! Just stopped in to say hi. Want to see how you guys do with some vintage stuff, 50s. Specifically, he does well, decent with 60s, and big upswing for 70s cards, but he doesn't sell many 50s. Well, maybe you have a little insight on that, or maybe the
Hmm.
rest of the chat, but I do not have vintage cards like that.
I do, and I love them. I was buying a lot of lots of them for a while, just commons, because it was a pretty easy flip for me. I don't do that as much now because it's easier for me to just go a show and I can find the margins in a box versus buying something random. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 50s, especially football, has sold really well for me. I don't do quite as well with baseball. There's just so many vintage sellers of baseball. I feel like the same 1953 Topps baseball card has passed like 900 hands because
Yeah.
they just sell it and resell it, and then somebody grades it and sells it again. And you know, baseball just passes along that much. Um, so I found way more success with football. But yeah, you know, as long as you can get them at a good price, you know, and buy quantity and stuff, you just list them. They're easy to scan and list, so that's a nice part about it. You don't have to learn about parallels or do any of that stuff. Got to be a little bit about careful about condition. You know, when you list stuff, you want to be as, you know, honest and forthright in choosing your condition and stuff like that when you list. That would probably be the biggest thing. But yeah, I've done very well with 50s cards. A lot of them are bigger size, you know, so that kind of complicates things a little bit. Um, what I've noticed a lot about the 50s cards that are the bigger size, a lot of people what they did was they just cut them off because they wanted them to fit in the regular sleeves and
Yeah,
stuff.
I've seen that.
So you have to look at it a lot for trimming and things like that. You want to obviously indicate that because that can affect value. But I try to do like 50 cents or under when I'm buying like that old a vintage, 50s or 60s. And then I generally will list at like 3.99 or 4.99 per card. Kind of regardless of condition, to be honest with you. I've sold some pretty tattered, been through the laundry type stuff, and I still get $3, $4 for them.
Yeah.
You just got to find the right buyer for it. But um, and then as you get more modern, I pay a little less for it and I ask a little less for it. So let's say you got 1981 football, you buy a big lot of. And again, I'm talking commons, not like stars and big rookies and stuff. But I buy a big lot of 1981 Topps football. Well, now I want to pay less than a quarter for them, and I'll probably charge like 2.99 per card. You know, unless it's a bigger name or a rookie or whatever. But or if it's super, one of the things I love about buying those vintage lots like that, sometimes when you go through it, you'll find a card that's like super, super mint, well centered, right? Because these were commons, no one cared about them, so they were in a, you know, they're in a long box and it just says 54 tops on it, you know,
Yeah.
and then somebody sells the whole box for whatever. But if you can dig some out and you can like, well, either grade them, make the money off of it that way. A lot of times, what I do is I'll just list it and I'll say, like super mint or something like that, and make sure you have good photos of it. You might want more photos than just a scan of it, and then charge a premium. So if that card normally sells for $3-4 as a more beat up common, I might ask $9 or $10 for it, and you'll get it because there's people looking to upgrade those cards, or grade them, and they'll buy a better copy and pay more for it. So you can find some good opportunity in that, just in the fact that you might hit one that's just really minty.
Okay. So what kind of volume do you do with 50s cards?
Me?
Yeah.
Now not as much. Like I said, I was doing a lot of it, and I think it's a little harder now to find like super minty ones when you're buying them because everybody grades. But so when I was doing it a couple of years ago, there's a little more opportunity with that. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, when I had a pretty good supply of them, I was selling a few a day, probably 5, 6, 7 of them a day. At $3 to $4 a piece. I mean, it was decent returns.
Yeah.
And I'm buying like a long box, right, of commons for, $40, something like that. So it's not a giant, investment, and you don't really need to know the players, you don't need to know anything because you're going to list all of them, because commons from those years are acceptable to list versus 2025 top baseball commons.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to want to list. So um a lot of vintage collectors out there, especially if you're selling on eBay, because those older collectors, that's where they buy their cards. They're not going to Whatnot. They're not going to Collects.
Mm-hmm.
They want their, old, Chicago Cardinals cards, to complete their set. They go to eBay to buy them.
Right.
So if that's your selling platform, it's a great product to list on there. You don't get a lot of crossover though. I don't get a lot of people who buy like a 1952 Bowman football card and a 2018 Topps football card. Like
Sure.
there's like the buyers who buy the vintage and then the buyers who buy the modern. So that's why I said you got to buy enough in bulk, because if you list like one or two cards, it's going to be hard to get the buyer, because that buyer is going to come in and they're going to go, well, I want all the Chicago Cardinals cards, or I want to complete my 1956 set. Those are different types of collectors than the modern. So you want to have enough stuff so that, they could make a better order versus, single card by single card. I try to do
Right.
everything I can to avoid getting single card orders, because that is the death of your business. It takes too much time. It eats into your profits. You got to pay shipping on each one. You go through more supplies. Like the whole thing is just not great for a one card sale. So you try to do, if you're gonna get into it, try to do as much as you can to get multi-card sales.
That is a difference maker, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Designated Heckler is here today. He's got a couple of posts here that work together, so I'm gonna go through them quickly. I'm with Adam that buying for me is nearly automatic. I took a minute and broke my automatic process down to 11 steps.
Not a 12-step process. 12
Yeah,
step
not a 12 step. He
12
doesn't
step
get
program.
chips.
I never gave up hope.
I
Bill,
wonder
Bill
if
Murray, he's a legend.
wonder if Dan still got his wild card chip. He's still trying to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah, he's an addict.
So, Designated Heckler says, one, does the player have hobby? I think we would agree on that.
Top thing to look for sure.
Two, modern or vintage. So I don't know. To me, I don't know if that's a decision factor. Like I that's beforehand. Am I shopping for vintage or am I shopping for modern? Because they're usually not mixed together in a box, right? I mean, you'll find a couple, but
I find less vintage, so I'm actually more inclined to be like, okay, well, this vintage card's in a quarter box. That's an easy, buy for me.
mm-hmm. Okay.
If it's like along the sets that other sets of cards that I have,
Yeah.
that's a good pickup. Because yeah, you're right, you don't see as much of that in the boxes. It's almost all modern.
Yeah. And then rookie card or Bowman first, which I think we look at as well. But I would say that rookie card or Bowman first does not automatically mean a good single. Like
Right.
there's plenty of marginal players that don't have hobby, even in their rookie or their Bowman first.
Yeah, even like some big name players, right? So
Yeah.
I bought a
Yeah.
Paul Konerko rookie this weekend. You know who Paul Konerko is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, played forever with the White Sox. White Sox, right? Yeah, White Sox. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think he even coached there for a little while. You know, had tons of hits. You know, not necessarily a Hall of Fame career, but a really good career, really solid career. And it was in a dime box, so that's why I bought it. And I got all the dime cards free, so essentially I didn't even pay for it. But
Yeah.
anyway, my point is, those players, like, sometimes they pop and you look at them, and it was 95 Bowman, right? Not a common, a card you see in every box.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I like those kind of cards because those are great. Like I said, candy bar checkout type cards.
Yeah.
Um, where somebody's looking to curate a larger purchase, multiple card purchase. So, but that a player like that, you think you would have some hobby, and really doesn't.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of you're buying it based on, okay, well, it would be a tag on to something else.
Yeah. And there's a lot of players like that. Like
Tons.
that as a new reseller when I started, that was probably the first big lesson to get through, is that just because they were a good player and have name recognition doesn't mean they're a good card
No,
in the market.
I remember the first few shows we went to, and we would always go over what we bought after the show. And I remember looking at your stuff, going, I don't think this guy can do this. And
Yeah.
I didn't tell you that because you were learning, and I would just try to give you feedback and stuff. But it was like, why the hell are you picking this stuff up out of boxes? But that's just how
Yeah.
you learn. You have to kind of do it, and and build up to it. And if you're buying in 10-cent, 25-cent, 50-cent boxes, and you miss on a few of them, it really doesn't matter.
Right. Right.
And you might be surprised. I'd be like, why did you buy that? You list it and you're like, hey, look at the first card sold. And be like, the
That
hell?
happens
Who's
too.
buying it? Yeah. Because sometimes you're listing the card that nobody else will list.
Yeah.
So it's just the scarcity is created not by the number of cards that were printed, but by the number of cards that were listed for sale.
Right.
Right? Because somebody else goes, well, Paul, why the hell would I list a Paul Konerko card? I'm going to toss that aside. Well, I guarantee you there's somebody who needs a Paul Konerko card in their collection. So
Yeah.
if you're the only one with it listed, you got a decent shot at selling it.
Yeah, for sure. Uh Goes on to say, for insert, parallel, short print, or base. So he's assessing that. And there again, insert, parallel doesn't necessarily guarantee a good single
Yeah.
sale. So there's a lot of overprinted parallels, overprinted inserts. It's that old adage, kind of like the junk wax, right? Everybody who wants one already has one on
Right.
that overprinted stuff. So
Like a pink foil Chronicles parallel. Like it
yeah,
doesn't, it's worth the same as the silver one,
yeah, you
So
get it
yeah,
in
it doesn't.
every box you buy, every blaster you buy,
Right.
right?
Right. And it doesn't really like look great on the card. Like it doesn't pop it.
Yeah,
It's not like a refractor or a silver or mosaic or, something where it really changes the aesthetic of the card. It's just pink instead of silver in that one where it
right.
says Chronicles.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah.
Uh, and then this is a big one for us. Have I seen this before? Especially once you get some experience and you've gone through hundreds of thousands of cards. If you see something that, you've got some of those other items, and then you're like, and I've never seen this before,
Hmm.
that's a sure thing you want to grab, right?
Big time. Yep.
Yeah. And then chrome or paper. Definitely makes a difference. Chrome is leaps and bounds more desirable than paper. With paper, you're really, you know, having to dig a little more to those scarce inserts and things like that. Like that Tom Brady card you mentioned earlier. That's a paper card, but it's a case hit. It's not printed a lot, so that can hit.
I do have one argument to that, and that's tops, especially older tops. There are people who have collected every top set for every year, right? And they want paper cards. You know, Topps Chrome came out in 1996, and they don't buy those. They want the paper version. So there can be just as strong a market in the paper in those years, not ultra modern, but like up to ultra modern, where paper can do just as well. And you can buy them cheaper a lot of times because the perception is the chrome is, you know, more desirable. It's not
Yeah.
always true.
7 is condition acceptable. And we know your thoughts on that. That's not that important.
Nope, doesn't matter at all. It matters for my pricing, my margin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can sell any card in any condition. And if it's miscut, I'll give you more money for it.
Yeah.
I have a miscut.
Got the buyers for that.
I have a miscut buyers group, and that I'll list it. I'll put miscut in the title, and it'll be gone within minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a premium a lot of times on them, even.
Yeah.
So I saw. Speak of that, I saw a post on Facebook. Somebody had a Aaron Judge Topps Chrome Sepia
rookie. Just the lighting on my camera here.
Oh, Sepia refractor rookie, but it was miscut, so it was like cut down to the Topps Chrome, and you could see like the previous card above it, you know, a chunk of it. And he's like, "Oh, is this even worth having? You know, is this card totally ruined since it's miscut?" And I'm like, "Dude, I would die to have that." An Aaron Judge Sepia refractor Chrome miscut. That sounds amazing. I guarantee you, it's the only one out there, or there's very few of them, because that's a card that, you know, they would have made adjustments on as it was printing. But yeah, so it's just like, I mean, checklists, right? Lots of people pass over on checklists. I bought a whole bunch of them in that out of those boxes from the mixed media store yesterday. But checklists, man, people need those, especially like I said, the earlier, you know, top sets and stuff. Like here's some 91 baseball checklists, right? So pretty simple, you know, but no marks on them, right? So you got to have them unmarked. But a lot of people just like threw those out, you know, or did mark them, you know, because that was before the internet. Here's a Skybox basketball one, and you'll find those cheap all the time in boxes, and good minty unmarked ones from the 90s or earlier. I mean, that's $3-4 a piece on those. So make sure you have a healthy supply of checklist cards to sell, because there's lots of buyers looking for that stuff.
And then he says, licensed or not, which we just had a healthy discussion on. And does the card have eye appeal, which is a tough one, because something that has eye appeal to me may not have eye appeal to you.
I actually think both of those kind of go together. And the reason I say that is because an unlicensed card can look really bad if it's not, the photo they use isn't good, right? Like, you know, you have a Joe Montana card, and it's a close up of the side of his helmet, you know, with him hiking the ball. And it's just gold. There's no 49ers on it, right? Because it's not licensed. That's not necessarily something I would grab. Versus, you know, a nice head-on shot of Montana running with the ball, and it's, you know, resurgent, so it's got the cool lightning in the background, and like, dude, I would buy that card all day long. That card's going to have hobby. So that kind of goes back to the eye appeal part of it too, right? So it's unlicensed, but it has good eye appeal or bad eye appeal. So that might be like a two-part decision on a card like that versus whether or not you think it's going to have the margin you need. I don't know.
Yeah. What else? And 10, does the team have hobby?
Mm-hmm.
Which we talk about teams like the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Packers, Chiefs. Who
You know
else?
whose team?
On the
Guess
short list.
whose team's cards are super hot right now?
Who's?
Take a guess. I want you to guess.
Well, what sport?
Football.
Football. Um, New England.
Nope. Well, yes, but New
I mean,
England always has a fan base.
Drake May is hot right now. So.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. I mean, they're good, yeah, so that makes sense. The Chicago Bears. You can
Oh,
sell
sure.
any Chicago Bears card at all right now. I picked up again part of that mixed media lot. I got a nice Jim Harbaugh parallel top, or whatever you call it, horizontal tops card with him, at the line waiting for the ball.
Right.
Stuff like that is straight money. So
Although
Bears, super hot.
you might have to wait closer to next season now after the heartbreak of the playoffs. It may slow down a little bit until the season starts back up again.
You know what's kind of interesting about that? I expected, they lost. I expected the a lot of the Bear fan base to come out and be like, "See, we can't win," and blah blah blah. And it's been the exact opposite. They're like, "What a wonderful season! Thank you so much, Caleb Williams, bear down, and blah blah blah." You see all that, and it's like they've got a lot of faith and passion for that team right now, and they feel
Sure.
like they're on the upswing, and there's gonna. So here's one of the things when you're looking at selling cards in an off season. Okay, uh, what what do you feel like the prospects are for that team the next year?
Next season. Yeah.
Right. So Bears, that's a great team to invest in right now. Another great team. Another great team from football
Oh,
that has good sales right now.
having good sales right now. I mean, Tampa Bay is a team that's been on the uptick. Jacksonville is back up there.
Jacksonville, you hit the nail right on the head.
Oh.
So buying more Jacksonville stuff, running backs, quarterbacks, the obvious, players that have most of the hobby in football card sales. So Mark Brunell, I've even been buying some Mark Brunell stuff, at super cheap prices. His stuff sells for me. And when the Jaguars get hot, he is the quintessential star quarterback for that team.
Yeah.
Before Trevor Lawrence, of course. So yeah, when the fans are still hyped that they have even more opportunity next year and they really got something to build on, your off-season sales are going to be out for those teams.
Right. That makes sense.
And players.
Yep. All right. Dan's with us. He says, "What's up, everyone? Anyone buying into 2026 Topps flagship?"
Yep, I'll be buying some. Not as much as I did last year. We're not going to do the 24-hour video thing, but
right.
I did not make very much money on that stuff.
No, I was just going to say I have most of what we bought last year yet.
Yeah. So 2024 was a little bit better. You had the Jacksons and rookies, and you had Skeens, and you had there was a little bit more to hit on with that.
Yeah.
Last year was a little bit more shallow, so it didn't really help move a lot of the top stuff.
I mean, just wait 25 years and then it'll be vintage, and then you can sell all of it.
Just list it now. You'll sell most of it, over the time, and it's all good. Or make kids packs with it. Start your own card show and give them out. That's what we do.
Yeah, Dan asked me the other day in a DM if I was getting any. I said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you no right now, and then I'll tell you when I finally give in and buy some."
Yeah, I know you'll buy some. So
definitely not buying multiple hobby boxes though.
Yeah. Did he DM you in Discord?
Yeah.
I have to do a better job of checking that. I probably have messages in there and I just never look. Because I don't get notifications on it or anything. Once in a while I'll just stumble in there and I'll be like, "Oh crap, here's a message from 3 weeks ago. I should probably reply to this." So if you've sent me a DM in there, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not very good at looking at them. I never think of that as a place where people would message me, so I don't really go to it,
Yeah, I get
and I should.
quite a lot of discussions in there in the DMs.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oops.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. If you're taking care of them, then I don't have to do it. So that sounds good too.
Let's see here. Jordan is here. He says, "Hi, are you guys excited about the Muppet Show revival happening? And is a remake of Ocarina of Time? Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
All
ocarina.
right,
Yeah.
going to happen too. I am excited about the Muppet Show revival happening. I was a big
Yep.
fan of the Muppet shows back in the day. It's the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, I think the strength behind that is going to be they get quality human guests on it.
Mhm.
One of the things that was great about the Muppet Show back in the day was they could get everybody.
Yeah,
Whoever was the big star of the day would come on the Muppet Show and do the skits. So if they can keep, they get Sydney Sweeney on there, and they get, all these hot names right now, in acting and act. They get the Stranger Things kids on there doing something like
yeah,
that's the kind of thing that will make that actually successful and not just like a little Muppety project that they've been doing, for years. Um, my best confidence in it is that it's Jason Segel that's producing and writing and directing a lot of it,
yeah.
and he gets the Muppets. That Muppet movie he made with uh what's her name? Uh Adams? Is there
Amy
the
Adams.
Amy Adams, thank you.
Oh.
I was gonna say Rachel McAdams because I just saw her Walk of Fame star and it definitely
I
wasn't
know
her.
you were watching The Notebook earlier today.
Right. Amy Adams is good in a lot of stuff. She has quite a range actually. I saw her in a post-apocalyptic one where she was like the senator or something of the new world, and like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, go from
Yeah,
Muppet movie to that. Anyway, I have good confidence in him. I think he gets the Muppets. He had Jack Black in there, and like, I mean, they did a barbershop quartet cover of "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
yeah,
That is solid gold. Like, if they can put stuff together like that, it'll do very, very, very well.
yeah. Well,
So that
now,
motivates me because the Muppet movie that came after that, Jason Segel wasn't involved in, and it was just not very good.
yeah,
Didn't have great stars. Storyline wasn't that compelling, and so to see him back, that gave me a lot of confidence.
for sure. The other one I'm not familiar with at all, so you got me on that one.
So Ocarina of Time is part of Legend of Zelda,
Oh yeah, okay.
and a remake of it. I guess I don't know. I mean, what are they going to do with it? Like, um, so we'll see. I don't know if I'm as excited about that. Zelda stuff sells okay for me. I have a lot of the old Nintendo sticker cards, so I'd be happy to see a new flux of buyers in there. Like Stranger Things came on, I just basically sold every single Stranger Things thing that I had.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was great to clear that out. I'd been buying a bunch the last couple of years, knowing the final season was coming out. So you know, um, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not that familiar with that project either, so I don't really know what they're doing with it.
All right. Lofi Joe says, "Where's the upper deck love?" Going back
Mm.
to our manufacturer discussion.
Yeah,
Um,
Upper Deck is great. I wish they still had a license because I liked a lot of SP was a great product. SPX.
yeah.
Um, I no love lost for Upper Deck. I think they made great stuff.
And now they just
Way
got
better
hockey.
than Panini.
Think hockey's the only license they have.
Yes. Uh, Hockey and Marvel. We do a lot of
Oh
Marvel
yeah,
products.
yeah. Okay.
Those
Yep.
are like their two big things.
Let's
So
see. Andrew McGovern is here. He says, "Great show as always, guys. Thank you. My favorite show of all time was Breaking Bad, and bought a few boxes of the 2014 Cryptozoic. Sold the autos years ago, but didn't realize the values of the
ugh.
singles."
Yeah, You should have kept the autos too. Those are hot right now. But yeah, great show, great cult following. I buy those cards often, and they sell really well for me. Um, the holograms, not holograms, like the foil inserts and stuff, really cool stuff. So if I could find some of those boxes now, yeah, I'd be all over that for sure.
I don't know that I've ever come across any Breaking Bad cards.
hmm I bought a good chunk of them at the National, I think before you were going to the National, so quite a
Okay.
few years ago. And man, Dell had some awesome stuff back in the day. I bought most of it out, so it was like it kept draining down, but yeah, he had a lot of the inserts and stuff, and I picked all those up. They were great cards. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I was late to the show with Breaking Bad. In fact, I've still not watched, every episode all the way through.
Ooh,
I
spoiler.
watched maybe half of season 1, and I don't know, I got distracted into something else and never picked it back up. And then what's the sequel? Better Call Saul or something like that?
Yeah, I didn't watch that at all.
No?
That's about the lawyer from the Breaking Bad show, and it didn't really do
Yeah.
anything for me.
No? Because I've
Mm-mm.
heard good things about that as well.
hmm I have too. It's just not my thing. That's like, oh, Game of Thrones. No, I didn't watch it. I don't. Doesn't appeal to me. I don't. I don't like people who speak weird ass old English and wear, you know, chainmail, and like it's just not my thing.
Yeah,
But they ride dragons. Yeah, I don't care. So I'm more science fiction side of the universe than dragon fiction.
sure.
But yeah, so shout out to Cryptozoic though. They make awesome stuff. So
They
when
do.
when it's like, oh, Cryptozoic is going to put this out, I'm like, I'll pay attention to that. I bet the boxes will be good. They'll have cool looking cards, and so just a heads up if you're new into non-sport or you're looking to get into non-sport, um, Cryptozoic products. If you see it's pretty solid stuff usually.
Yeah. Boomslang says, wait, is Arnold and his little buddy giving a wait? I didn't see that avatar for DP Fitness. Gonna have to go back and look at that later.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Pokemon Brothers is joining us tonight from the fort here. Freddie Peralta
Yeah.
is going to be on a New York Mets card now, as he was traded to the Mets just now.
Oh,
Fast Freddie Peralta. I had
fast
not
Freddy
heard that.
Peralta. He's
The
not somebody I generally invest in, so I don't know that I'd be looking for much of that.
Yeah. So I just got the ESPN notification. New York Mets have acquired all-star right-hander Freddie Peralta in a trade with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Hmm. What do
Top
the Brewers
prospect
get?
Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat are headed to Milwaukee.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, there you
Not
go.
super excited about that at the moment.
Hmm. Brewers are
Well,
selling, huh? They're
we'll
sellers.
see. We'll see. That must be why I keep fading into the dark tonight. I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know. Go
We had this
Cubs.
happen once before. I never did figure out the technical piece of why I seem to have dynamic lighting on my camera. I am under not one, not two, but 3 direct lights. Yeah, see there? Now it's back. I put my hands up by the lights and I came back, but it just fades away.
I'll have you know I look great tonight. So, you know,
All right.
I mean,
There
maybe
you
you're
go.
making it too complicated. I just have the lights on and that's it.
That could be.
I don't have any ring lights. I don't have nothing. So, keeping it simple.
Boomslang says half of my card sales are from the 60s and maybe a quarter non-sports. The rest is everything else, but my sales are only a couple $100 a month. Nothing like Adam.
Yeah, I mean, there is market for basically any card that's ever been produced. But yeah, if you want to do volume, you have to hit a lot of different targets, um, to get those sales up there. And then you have to, work the things we talk about normally on other shows episodes. And that's, how do you do promotions? How do you send out newsletters? Like then you have to get it out there and get people to buy from you. So
Right.
there's a different aspects to it, but yeah, just 60s cards and non-sports probably not going to get you, thousands of cards a month sold.
Dan says, "Hi, I'm Dan, and I haven't bought any wild card. I'm in 4 months sober from. Geez, I massacred that one. I'm Dan, and I haven't bought any. I'm 4 months sober from wild card.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Wait until you got to come to the national because wild card gets better and better every year with it, and
Yeah,
I know you'll buy some if you go to the national. So you gotta show up. That'll be your off the wagon purchase.
I was really happy to see the wild card dealer at the Green Bay Card Show again this past weekend.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
fun. We don't see a lot of people put that stuff out. And he was selling cards. People were buying
yeah,
them. So
yeah, he's becoming a regular. I didn't buy any this time because he didn't seem to have anything on sale the way he did at the Goat Card Show.
yeah.
Looked like it felt like he had reduced his prices to move some stuff at our show, and then this past weekend it looked like he had it back to kind of regular listing prices that he uses. So
Well, hopefully he'll come back to the GOAT show because one of the things we try to build on is having different things at the
yeah,
show, right? So um you and I both bought some stuff from him. We're trying to help him out, get things moving too. So hope to see him back. It's a lot of
yeah,
fun. I like seeing
absolutely.
that stuff.
And I sold that Merino 1 of 1 already. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
worked
mean,
out
one of
well.
ones, even though obviously the market on the wild card is not as great as like a one of one from, Tops or something, but
Yeah,
it's still a one of one merino. There's gonna be a buyer for it.
and it was the true 1 of 1, not the just
Right, right,
parallel 1 of 1. Yeah.
right. But even the
So,
parallel one of ones, I bet you'd find for a
oh yeah,
Dan Marino, something that's highly collected like that, you'd get a
yeah,
buyer for that.
yep,
And the cards look amazing,
they do. Yeah,
So
and this
if
was
you put a one of one superfractor on the shelf and a one of one, monster hits wild card on the shelf, and you had a buddy over and had who knew nothing about cards,
yeah.
which one would they think looks cooler and is more valuable?
Well, I mean, the superfractors are usually the gold, so there's a psychological thing towards gold. But I
Okay.
get what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
the wild
And
cards,
the
like
superfractor would be, $500 and the wild card one is what, $40, $50?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a great alternative if you're just looking for a cool piece.
Although not that I've ever had a superfractor, but I'm thinking of like those gold vinyls a lot of times.
Mhm.
Aren't those like the superfractors?
Well, gold vinyl is a Panini thing. Of course, they
Right.
copied that from Topps because that's who they are.
Yep. Mhm.
But yeah, Topps basically looks like a vine. It's like a bunch of little gold shells. It's like gold
Yeah. It's a gold
dragon.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like dragon skin is almost what it looks like on
Yep.
the
So I
border.
had it right. Okay. I
Yeah.
was thinking
And
of the
I have
right.
a few superfractors, and there's a lot of attention in that market. There's big time superfractor collectors and stuff, but which
Didn't you
pushes
pull
the
one
prices
like
up.
a month ago or something out of a box?
Did I? Yeah, I pulled a Star Wars superfractor.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I sold it for $870.
Nice.
Yeah. It was an IG, no, a K2SO
Okay.
superfractor
Yeah.
out of
Mhm.
a Walmart box for $35.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
That was a big one.
Loafy Joe makes a great point here. Whether formal or informal, we all pay for our education, and that is
Yeah, that's true.
absolutely right. When I
Mhm.
was talking about the different stages of a reseller, that first stage is when you're paying your college tuition the most.
Mhm.
Yep. Bradley confirms. Yep, Freddie Peralta was traded to the Mets. Pokemon Brothers says same with Tobias Myers. And that, my friend, gets us all caught up on chat. And we can maybe open up another topic, which I know is
We
near
have
and dear to a
we have
lot of
we have
people.
one more. We have one
Oh,
more.
did it add in there?
Keith is in here. He says, "What's up, fellas? Question: If y'all New York slang, had $500 to spend on cards. What are you buying? I mean, I spend $500 on cards, so that's a pretty regular thing. But uh, non-sport like inserts, parallels, autos, that would be top of my list. Um, and then I don't know. I'd probably go to more like my goat stuff. So I'd buy more LeBron. I like more of the mid 2000s to mid teen thousands. If that makes sense, mid two teens.
Yeah.
Um, Less printed stuff. So I would buy Brady's and LeBron's and of those years. Those would be those. That's the best purchase. So stuff that's a little harder to find
Yeah.
is usually going to be the top of the list.
Yeah, that's a pretty good era to hit. And I would further isolate it to say I would be focusing on baseball, football, and then for my non-sport, probably Star Wars.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's also where I'd probably buy a couple of PSA 10 slabs as investments in that range too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can't really go wrong with tens,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. I don't really foresee ever grading something again trying to get a 10. Like I won't chase 10s anymore. If I want a 10, I'm going to go out and buy it. I want a sure
Yeah.
thing,
Well,
right?
that's what
So,
I did for years and years and years on my FARV PC, and that turned out to be like one of my best
yeah.
investments ever.
Mhm.
I was buying PSA 10 FARV. Sometimes it was inserts or even number cards, and I'm paying 15 to $20 a piece for them.
Yeah.
And now it's like a base card FARV PSA 10 is like $50.
Yeah.
I can sell them for that. I just sold one this past week. What was it? I'm trying to think what card it was, but yeah, it was basically a base card. I sold it for $49.99. And there's no way I paid more than $15 for it. So yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good flips in that stuff.
Yeah. And I guess talking about specifically what cards, we were just talking about the gold parallels. That's a major target for me that I'd be seeking out. Everybody loves gold, and that goes for cards too, except for the gold border paper. Like that's not a real scarce parallel. It's not
Yeah, or
even a
like
good gold. Yeah.
the score cards that have like the
Yeah.
gold border, but they're really like yellow. Like they're not
Yeah.
even gold.
Yeah.
So there are lots of things can be called gold, but not really gold.
Yeah. But true, like gold shiny, money every time.
Yep.
Yep. And Dan says I picked up a graded Brady rookie earlier this week. That would be one of my purchased.
Yeah,
There you
that
go.
makes sense. You just don't get a deal on Brady rookies. Like nobody's going to give it a, a a decent discount where you could have margin on it on the
No,
resale side. Now that's
no.
a great card to buy and hold.
Yeah.
Um, that's the kind of stuff where I tend to like pick out the stuff and I throw it in my own PC. So I was doing that when I was buying big lots of Otani rookies. I took out some ones that I really liked, and I'll keep those. Lamine Yamal's, Messi rookies, Brady rookies, stuff like that. Those are things you just Mahomes rookies. I had a lot of pack pulled Mahomes rookies. I got lucky there. So those are like, long term, they're always going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Mahomes is still pretty much the most liquid player in football. Um,
Yeah.
right now in this era. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got 3 Super Bowls. The guy's
I
not
guess
a chump.
I guess it's
two
okay.
two MVPs,
Yeah.
and he's what? He's still young. He's like
Yeah.
29, 30, something like that, 31. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Haven't heard much
So
on his rehab yet.
no, I don't think you will. I mean, they're still focusing on the season and what's going on there, but I'm sure all off season we'll get the updates on it, and Kansas City's going to have to make a lot of plays because they were not very good this year, and try to rebuild some of that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
They have to start looking at a future without Kelsey too.
Yeah.
He's getting to the expiration date of a tight end,
Yeah, that's true. Keith says
and he
he'll be
doesn't need the money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
As long as he's joined with the megastar. So
yeah. The private jet is already paid for, so he'd be all right without the football.
yeah. So Keith says he'll be posting a video soon of what he's picking up with $500 card show money. He's been selling
Perfect.
at shows of late, so
Nice.
working good for him.
I love it.
Yep. All right, what do you want to talk about next?
I don't know. What was our other topic?
We had 4 topics. I think we're only going to get through 2 tonight.
So what did we have left? McDonald's, Pokemon, and
New versus established margins and card show season restart.
ooh, gosh. Well,
Yeah.
I'd rather skip the McDonald's Pokemon. I don't think that's like a hot topic to cover necessarily. I mean, they've done that before. It's coming back. You're going to get your 2 card packs or 3 card packs, and they're going to sell out in like 3 days, and
It's a hard
that'll be the
pass.
end of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's the market moves so fast. Like, first of all, something made to be in millions of Happy Meals is not going to have any scarcity, right?
Right.
But then the market just floods quickly with everybody selling the same stuff. By the time you get it and list it, you're most often too late. So
I'm gonna say something, and a lot of you are probably gonna disagree with me, but I can see the Pokemon market now starting to hit its fatigue.
Oh, I wish I had a dramatic hamster I could put up.
I
Dun,
know,
dun,
right?
dun!
Yeah, a sad trombone or something. I don't know, but yeah, it feels like people are like, okay, well, all right, the Charizards, blah blah. It feels like it's slowing down. There isn't quite as many Eternal Phantasmal, or whatever this last set is that came out. You can still get packs on the
Yeah.
shelves. They're producing more of it, and that blah blah blah. I see peaks now in other TCG games that are like getting more attention. So One Piece, things like that. So I think some of at least the money grabbing Pokemon side of it is starting to fade a bit, and it's moving on to something else.
Yeah. So maybe we ask chat. What does chat want to hear us talk about next? Card show season reset, new versus established seller margins, and then we just talked about McDonald's.
Who wants to talk about McDonald's? Come on. Did you ever get one of the Grinch Happy Meals?
No, I didn't.
So we did. I went the day it came out. We got, first of all, it was like $35 for Happy Meals for my 3 people.
Goodness.
So that's pretty insane for McDonald's.
Yeah.
We ended up getting, because you get a pair of socks in it. That was like the thing.
Grinch socks.
Yeah. So we ended up getting all 3 getting different pairs, which was kind of cool. So we didn't all get the same thing at least, but
yeah,
the pickle salt for the fries was amazing. I loved it. But the whole thing sold out in like a week. This is crazy. So, I kind of look at it like, well, how do they have Pokemon Happy Meals for like 6 months and still have cards, but they couldn't put a few extra pairs of socks out and keep that thing going through Christmas,
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you how overproduced Pokemon's actually pretty overproduced.
It is, especially in promos like that. And that's the difference between those 2 promos, right? Like Pokemon is evergreen. They can keep coming back with that nonstop. Grinch is kind of seasonal, so maybe once a year they come up with that.
And the Happy Meal was better in other countries because you actually got like a little figure or something instead of the socks.
You get Grinch contacts.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was just kind of a side McDonald's conversation. We don't have any posts on like what people want to choose. So let's just choose our own thing.
Well, Joe says he
Um,
has a pair of Grinch socks up for $20 in his eBay store
mm,
right now.
I think you missed the boat on that one, buddy. I don't know that you're going to get a buyer right now. But good on you. I mean, if you could have snagged $20 for it, that would have been great.
Yeah.
I kept mine. I wear mine. It's got Grinches on it and it's got McDonald's uh arches on it. So yeah.
There we go.
Somebody told me they were selling them at the dollar store for $1.
Oh,
So
I would buy those for $1.
yeah, or $1.25. They don't have anything for $1 anymore, but whatever. Player worn Grinch socks. I mean, I guess. Let's talk about I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to do the card show topic or do you want to do the margin difference?
Well, I feel like the margin difference might be a little deeper topic, and we only got about 20 minutes left.
True.
So, should we talk a little bit about card show season reset?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, when we say restart, reset, we're really just talking about first of the year. And although it's not a regular cycle, it kind of is the start of a card show season because you get off that big retail season, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like WWE and how every show, ends with them pointing at the WrestleMania sign or something,
Yep.
So you get through that Christmas holiday. Sales are banging there. You got a lot of casual buyers just coming in. But then you reach a new year and everything kind of restarts and resets. And I think it can be a tricky time to navigate because dealers are restocked a lot of times. Like they've made some bank during the holiday season. They've restocked on some things. I know last weekend it looked like tables were pretty full with good selection again. And that doesn't mean automatic deals just because the table's full, right? Sometimes you may find a dealer that kind of wants to get things started again for the new cycle. But it's not automatic. And I think there's a common mistake that can happen with buyers, and that is excitement buying. You see all this new stuff out there, and you can get into that emotional buying versus your strategic buying, right? That we talked about before a little bit, and not have clear exit plans for the stuff you're buying. So I think those early season shows can be a great opportunity for buyers because of that selection, but only if they're doing disciplined buying. You need to stick to your plans, stick to your operations that got you there in the first place, and not buy into the hype, not buy into the excitement, and really, stick to the plan, if you will. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, if you're doing what we're doing, if you're a casual or you're a collector, it's side hustle or whatever, you can kind of do whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. But if you're doing it as a more serious thing, you have to think of your activity at a show as a business.
Yeah.
So you have to go, well, I like this card, I like that card. Well, that's great, but will that translate into profit? Will you be able to do something with that and make money on it? Whether you're going to take those profits or you're going to use that money to reinvest and get more cards to sell. Kind of a moot point. You need to make sure that you're, like Charlie said, you don't get caught up in the emotion or the shiny instrument on the table moment, and you're actually looking at it as, what's in this for me? Can I make something on this? A lot of times those cards that are the new ones out on the table that are the shiniest are going to be the most overpriced.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
looking at it as an opportunity to resell is not the best in most cases way to do it, for sure. Better at looking at all the stuff that they put in the box that they're just marked half price.
Yeah. So, what kind of stuff have you been seeing at the tables at the last couple shows that maybe you weren't before?
The wild card thing stood out to me.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more like 90s stuff. 90s like wax packs are kind of hot right now, like price wise and stuff. It's super weird. I mean, I could buy that stuff by the box for like $5 a box for sealed packs, and now it's like the packs are going for $5 a piece. It doesn't make any sense. So I
Yeah.
feel like there's some shift to that, and maybe it's just because people get in and they're in the ultra modern is right in their face and they're going, I want something different, and buying 50s and 60s baseball stars is pretty expensive, so maybe that's not where you can go, but you can get some of that you know overprinted junk wax stuff, so you still have something vintage but it's affordable, right?
Yeah.
um so I feel like that's the mark I'm seeing more than I used to. Cards like for example at the Green Bay show I saw a second year Ryan Sandberg card, top loaded, right in the middle of, it wasn't a case, it was just stuff out on the table, but on the table, and I'm like, that's weird, like a second year Ryan Sandberg card, with a individual price tag on it in a top load. And a lot of the other cards on the table were ultra modern stuff. So it's like, okay, well, it feels like a lot of the dealers are trying to get more of that type of stuff in there, instead of just, selling whoever the new rookies are. Because that was the fad for the longest time. Remember how many boxes we went in, like when we first started doing this, like seriously, and the hobby had already exploded. Remember how many boxes you would go through and it was just ultra modern no name rookies?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
tons and tons and tons of them. Even in like
Absolutely.
even in like dollar boxes, right? Like who the hell's gonna pay for, I don't know, some of those names where you're like, this is never Garrett Wilson, dollar for a absolute base rookie. It's like, who's buying this stuff? Um, I don't see as much of that now. Now I see a lot more mix of like different stuff. Some older cards, some parallels. Like it feels like the what the dealers are trying to sell stuff and what they're trying to sell it for is more realistic. Like we're getting out of that wave of all the overpriced stuff, and oh, it's a rookie card, so I can put it in a dollar box and somebody will buy it. Well, that's not, especially in football, that's not true. Prospecting in baseball, you can kind of get away with it, a little bit, where you'd sell more rookies who aren't playing yet, kind of thing, but it doesn't really work for the football market. And I'm seeing like zero soccer, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember seeing one box of soccer. Gosh, it was early in the fourth quarter, and the guy was looking to sell the whole box, but I just couldn't get to a price we could agree on. But that's probably the last large amount of soccer I've seen. And that would have been like October.
Yeah, and I mean, you had like for a while there was all these upcoming, player hot names, right? You bought the Mbappes, you bought the Erling Haalands, you know, um, you bought Jaden Sancho and Jude Bellingham and things like that. And it feels like the last couple of years is there really hasn't been like a, other than Lamine Yamal, that's the exception.
Yeah.
But even at that, I very rarely see Lamine Yamal cards anywhere.
No.
So I bought one
And
out of
if
a
I
court.
do, they're priced pretty heavy.
Yeah, I did find a rookie. I think it was Stadium. Was it Stadium Club? I think so. In a quarter box, but that was at a card shop. Wasn't at a show, so random. And of course, I bought it. Um, but yeah, it just feels like soccer sluggish, and I'm kind of surprised by that with the World Cup coming in a few months. I would have thought we'd see more dealers, trying to buy some of that and push some of that. Um, Granted, we're in Green Bay, Wisconsin, not a big soccer fan market, but still,
We almost got a new team.
I saw that. That would have been fun,
Yeah.
but it happens. So yeah, I think those are probably the things I've noticed the most. That, and then everybody just pushing the big crappy, you know, case hit stuff. Oh, I get you. Do you have any downtowns? Do you got any kabooms? Like that's like all people talk about at the dealer tables. And most of those buyers are just buyers that are looking for stuff for their resale packs.
Yes. Yeah.
So the market on those cards, just so everybody knows, and you're not shocked by this in the future, is heavily inflated because those buyers will pay up, right? So let's say it's $1,000 downtown, which I think is insane anyway for a card that isn't actually as rare as they say it is. Let's say it's a Cooper Flag rookie downtown, right? And it's $1,000, and you mark it at 1,200 because you're like, well, it's a downtown, it's the top basketball pick. Like this is a card I want to max my profit on. And somebody comes in and buys it for 1,200, right? And you're like, wow, this is great. You know, the market's going up on these Cooper Flag. No, it's not. The person who bought it is making all the money on the other side of selling the packs. So they don't care what they pay for it. It's pennies compared to what they can make, you know, using that card to draw in the buyers for the packs that you're really not going to make, you know, get good cards out of.
Sure.
So those markets are like very falsely inflated and will drop some. I believe there's always going to be a place for downtowns and kabooms. They've got enough history to them, but I don't think it's going to be at the level that it's at.
Okay.
Especially now that Panini is not making it. You're not going to get kabooms and downtowns next year.
Do you think that will prop up previous year's markets?
No, I think it'll hurt them because people will forget about it. And tops will have case hits and autos and things, and so the focus will shift to that.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Anything you think that sellers have been mispricing early?
Um, nothing that I can really think of off the top of my head. I would say probably like the football. So right now the stars in the NFL are this newer rookie class, right? Like
Yeah.
Mahomes is kind of, you know, back shelved, Justin Herbert's kind of back shelved. Trevor Lawrence kind of had a bit of a comeback this year, but still kind of back shelved. And now everybody wants Drake May and Bo Nix and I feel like the prices on that stuff are not. I mean, none of those guys have really done anything yet, you know. So
Yeah.
like, um, yeah, prices are inflated on those guys for sure. I found, you know, I've been buying those cards this year out of the dollar boxes from my LCS, um, you know, and from some tables and stuff because I'm like, I want to buy as many $1 Drake May rookie cards as I can because this is going to be easy money down the road, and it has been. And unfortunately for Bo Nix, had a great game, they won, but he got injured, so that hurts.
Yeah.
But literally,
Yeah.
um, but again, even if I don't sell the Bo Nix cards because he's not going to play, um, there is buy-in from that Bronco base that they've got a future with that team and with that quarterback. So those are going to be cards that will sell in the off season.
Okay. Yep.
So I think that's the biggest thing. They're kind of pricing it with. This is what happened when the boom happened. Everybody priced everything in with like future performance that wasn't guaranteed. Like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is worth this. This guy's pretty good, so I'll price this at a Patrick Mahomes rookie card. Except Patrick Mahomes has 3 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs and does insurance commercials and like um, different level type stuff versus Drake May. You know, playing well, but he hasn't done anything yet,
Right.
accomplishment wise. So,
Mm-hmm.
and neither
That
of them
makes
are going to
games
win the
for them.
MVP this year either. Matt Stafford is.
Yeah, he's probably a lock for it.
Yeah, I've been selling a lot of Matt Stafford lately.
Sure. Sure.
And Andrew Jones. I was buying up Andrew Jones the past few years. I have minor league cards and rookie cards, and he just got elected to the Hall, of course. And yeah, his stuff's been flying off my shelves. So
Yeah, I
good
saw
prepare there.
Carlos Beltran made it too. Was kind of
Yeah.
surprised he made it right away. I thought he would have to go through a couple times.
Yeah, I do have a little bit of Carlos Beltran. Out of that mixed media store buy, I got a Bobby Abreu Topps minor league rookie. I was like,
Okay.
okay, that's kind of an interesting buy, right? And not a
Well,
card you
I
see
mean,
every day.
there's really no such thing as a minor league rookie, but I know what you mean.
It's going to be rookie in the title, and it's going to sell. So that's all I have to care about, Charlie. But yeah, like
We'll never agree on that.
it kind of goes back to like when we started the show and we talked about Paul Konerko, right? And it's like, who wants Paul Konerko? But that card will sell. There'll be somebody that'll be like, oh yeah, he was a great player. I'm a big White Sox fan, and you can pick up a Paul Konerko rookie card for like $5. Why not buy it, right? So
Yeah.
those are the ones like I don't know. I like that kind of stuff. I'll always
Yeah.
buy that.
Yeah.
Minor league cards are awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I love them too. I
Yeah.
just sold one. What the heck was it? Oh gosh. It was amazing because it was like a Hall of Fame player and in a minor league uni. I gotta look it up now. What was it? But I think that the message here on the card show restart is that the first shows of the year really have some opportunities, but they reward restraint and not so much optimism. Like you still
Yeah.
have to be controlled because you're going to see a flood of more options, and that excitement's going to creep in there a little bit, but you got to stick to what got you to the dance, right?
Yeah. Now is not the time to buy Drake May.
No, you should have had Drake May already.
Right. So, you needed to buy Drake May halfway through the season when you already saw you had performance. Things were going okay, like Bo Nix, those types of guys. Um, and then sell, sold within the last couple of weeks. That would have been
Yep.
your time frame for that. So now, now you want to start buying the baseball stuff for the teams that are building into this next year. Buy all the Alex Bregmans you can.
Alex Bregman, which a month ago you would have been like, yeah, pass, Alex Bregman.
Actually, it's funny you say that because I bought a big stack of Topps Alex Bregman rookie cards a while ago. They were cheap in a dime box or something, and he has hobby though, like they sell before the Cubs thing. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting.
There was the minor league uni card that I sold the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the Silk Weavers.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's not something you see in every box. So those are the things to go after. You're not going to end up with 50 copies of that in your store.
Right.
So
that kind of leads me to the GOAT card show when we're talking about card shows. And what we bring to market, we've created an experience that offers a little bit of an educational experience as well, not just in us talking with dealers and sharing our insights on things when they ask, but also providing some demos and showing them some of our listing tools and scanning tools to really create more of an experience of just buying and selling, but also helping people get started in the business and educate themselves on the business. I know I've talked with a few people now, some parents that have brought kids out to their first card show, and it is like watching an atom start to multiply and separate, right? So it's that you just see the excitement start building, and then they're going to more and more, and then mom and dad is coming and saying, man, I can't get them to stop talking about it. So I think that says a lot about kind of what we're setting up on a card show. And we've got our next show coming up March 29th, I believe, right?
Yep, correct. Yeah, we're almost 70% sold out, I believe. So, things are moving along on the table wise. We just opened it up to non-current dealers. So, if you're looking for a table, we can help you out yet with that. It is the goatcardshow@gmail.com is the email address if you need to get a hold of us. And yeah, we would love to have everybody join us. You know, we say this in a lot of shows. You know, hey, if you're coming from out of the area, let us know. We can help you with the, you know, find some accommodations and show you around town and make a fun trip out of it. Um, Charlie and I will be live at the show, of course. You know, doing our show and helping you be a person of the experience in the show. I'm going to try to do some live video walking around, looking at different tables and looking at some different buys to kind of give you a little bit even more uh, live experience to the show. So I'm looking forward to that. Got to figure some things out yet, but that's something I want to try to do. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. March show should do really well. You know, peak time before baseball starting, so lots of hype in that area. Um, so yeah, we don't have all the details for that show yet. We're still waiting for the um, drawing prizes. We're working with one of our dealers on some things they're going to provide for that giveaway. We do have our charity. It's PACE, which is Pulaski Schools in our area. It is their food bank program. So we'll be collecting non-perishable foods again, as well as, you know, selling the $1 tickets. All the money, all the proceeds of that go to the PACE program this time. And they need lots of things for people in the community that, you know, don't have enough. So we're happy to help with that. We're going to continue to look for different charities to pitch in each show and help out with. So great cause. And yeah. So, and I'll be buying. So if you're a dealer, sign up, bring some cards. We'll buy stuff for sure. So, a great show. This last show I thought was one of our best ones we've ever had. Just everything
Yeah.
really fell into place. It felt very comfortable. Dealers did well. We had tons of customers in. Um, Targeted our advertising a little bit better. We tweaked some things and really made some improvements, and it felt like it all paid off.
Yeah, I would agree.
So something to build on, which is great.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Night Thrasher's here. I don't think we've talked previously tonight anyway.
No,
Says I sold 2 Bonix rookie cards this week. Yeah, they're moving. They're hot right now. So it's a good time. And depending on what you think is going to happen, you know, in the future, it might be a solid play for a while.
and some people are buying thinking they're going to get a deal since he's out now. So it can still be the right time to sell for a player like that. And like I said, people believe there's a good future there, so they're going to buy in anticipation that he'll be back next year and they're going to be good again.
Yeah, for sure. And Keith All says, "Are those Jarrett Stidhams moving or what?"
I don't think I have any Jared Stidhams.
I don't
I
think
didn't
I do
really
either.
fall for that. I don't think like he's going to be, you know, some kind of Super Bowl MVP at the end of the season. So
Yeah.
kind of leave that one alone. If I have a few listed and they sell, great. You know, bonus for him getting into the game. But yeah, it's not a play of mine by any measure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're caught up. I think we're at the 2-hour mark. I got a
Perfect.
little recap of what happened tonight because we talked about a lot actually.
Yeah.
Building a buying system, making split second box calls, passing on McDonald's Pokemon. That was a hard pass. We both agreed on.
Yeah.
Welcoming the card show season back. We talked about our love for Wild Card, and we debated Panini's place in the hobby, hyping up a new Muppet movie, and respecting the power of the Grinch socks. So if that's
Yes.
not dollar box logic, I don't know what is. And I will see you all next week.
Remember, you can't sell what you don't list. Good night, everybody. Next Wednesday, 8 Central Standard Time, as usual. Join us.